I just wanna make you mine. Mine, mine, mine. Mine.
I haven't even announced it on my YouTube yet.
I just wanna make you mine. Mine, mine, mine.
You'll realise how much more you can push if you just have breaks.
I just wanna make you mine. Mine, mine, mine. Mine. Mine, mine, mine.
People go to the gym for a purpose.
I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you. I just wanna.
Can't believe I'm showing this on my YouTube.
Mine, mine, mine. Mine. Mine, mine, mine. I just wanna make you mine.
Next week I'll look at the feedback.
Mine, mine, mine. I just wanna make you. I just wanna make you.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I'm back today with a full week of workouts. I do post a lot of workouts on my stories and I get asked a lot what I train with, the little snippets that I post. I thought if I did like a full week of workouts, you guys could see like everything I get to in the week. Honestly, I love my split at the moment. Like, it's not just your average legs, glutes, push, pull. It's kind of a bit of everything. For any of you who don't know, in about March time, I got myself a coach. Felt like I needed change. I wasn't really like pushing myself anymore. It has like helped me so much. Like, where I'm so busy, just not having to think of like, oh, I've got to think of what I want to train today, or oh, I've got to think what I want to eat today. Actually, I haven't even announced it on my YouTube yet, thinking about it, but I announced on my Instagram that I've actually started coaching, and honestly is the most unreal feeling ever. I've been qualified as a PT for over a year, but in my head, like I said in my first ever YouTube video, there's always room to learn more. For me, I just didn't want to start coaching knowing that I knew I could know more. So right, I feel like I know enough. Now that I've got a coach myself, I don't have to worry about myself. I put my everything into all my clients, and like, honestly, I love every minute of it. Seeing like clients just do well, saying they feel more confident, they've been able to push themselves more in the gym. Like, I get them to send me videos of them in the gym so I feel like I'm there with them, and honestly, it's just the most surreal feeling. But anyway, that's not what the video is about. So yeah, as I was saying, my split is unreal now. So where I was training like 5-6 times a week, I'm only now training 4 times a week, which just fits my lifestyle so well. I'm so busy all the time that 4 days is just perfect for me. So I normally start my split off on a Monday, and that session is glutes, legs and shoulders. Now you're probably thinking, shoulders on the same day you train legs and glutes? Like, what? Honestly, like, this is my favorite day, and that's why I do it at the beginning of the week, because it just sets me off perfectly. Because you're training your shoulders as well as your legs and your glutes, like when you finish, the pump everywhere, oh my god, like I literally live for it. I'm gonna show you that session now, and you can come along with me and you can follow along with me. You can take me to the gym and follow along with me if you want. So I actually did do leg extension and squats before this session, but I was filming for a reel on Instagram as well on my phone and just completely forgot to get my camera out. So I do leg extensions and squats before going into this workout. So next I then go into Bulgarian split squats, the deadly exercise that everyone absolutely loves but hates. I'm sure you can relate, but I currently do these on the Smith machine. I do sometimes do them with a barbell, but I just feel like I can get better stability on the Smith. With better stability just means upping my weight and just making sure my form's right. So I have been opting for the Smith machine. Pretend that there's like a wall behind me, so that when I am going down into the movement, I am going straight and keeping my back nice and straight once I'm going down. So yeah, if you use that analogy of a wall being behind you, it just helps your form so much, and the glute connection is absolutely unreal. Yeah. I then go into machine hip thrusts. Now I do barbell hip thrusts later on in the week too, but I'm really struggling to get my strength up in barbell hip thrusts, so I do like to do machine hip thrusts too. But with these, you just want to make sure that on the platform where you've got your feet, you want to make sure that your heels are quite low to the bottom, so that then you can push through your heels more, because you get that right angle like you would with a barbell. So the last exercise that we're doing for the glutes on this day is abductors. Now genuinely, this is the one exercise where I just feel my glutes working so much, which is why I keep it to the end, because honestly my glutes are dying after this exercise. But one thing that I've learned to do from my coach recently is if you sort of go on your toes more and push through your tiptoes, then you do feel it more in your glutes.
Let me give you the moments in your life to step to fly away.
So then we're now moving on to shoulders. Honestly, shoulder press is my favorite. Not even shoulder movement, upper body movement. Like, I am so obsessed with shoulder press at the moment. So when you're going down, you want to make sure that you're not going all the way down. You want to go so your arm's sort of straight in line with your shoulder, if that makes sense. And then you want to push up all the way and then come back down so that your elbow's in line with your shoulder.
Turn up.
So the last exercise we're doing for the shoulders is lateral raising. You want to roll forward. So yeah, we want to lead this movement with your elbows and you want your shoulders to roll forward.
Fall on you, another thing I won't do. Ooh yeah, I just wanna call on you.
It is absolutely insane. Like, I'll see if I can find a photo of me now with an overall pump from this session and you'll understand what I mean with like the pump overall. So this is me. Really not going to focus, is it? There we go. You can kind of see this is me after my shoulders, glutes and legs workout. You can literally see here my vein and my shoulders like popping, and then like my glutes are looking full and so are my hamstrings. Every time that day comes, I'm like, yes, like I cannot wait to do it. So I kind of try and work my week. So it's training, rest day, training, rest day, because obviously there's 7 days in the week. Obviously I will have to train Sunday then into Monday. I won't have a rest in between them, but like, because I have a rest day every other day, it doesn't matter to me. Like, it works out perfect. So Tuesday will normally be a rest day for me. Obviously this depends, it doesn't stay the same. Like, it really does depend on my shifts in work. It does vary, but like if I could have it my way type of thing, Tuesday would be a rest day and then Wednesday would be upper. So this is like full body. It's not push, it's not pull, like it's just full upper body. So it's like shoulders, chest, triceps, biceps, back. I'm trying to think if I've forgotten anything else. So the first exercise we're doing is seated rows, and I absolutely love these because I just feel like when I'm doing these I can really focus on the tempo. But yeah, so with these you want to make sure that your chest is nice and proud, and you also want to make sure that when you're pulling back into the movement you want to keep the elbows nice and close. You want to pull into the pocket, sort of like into your hip, if that makes sense. So you want to pull back, keep your elbows nice and inwards. You don't want to start pulling your elbows, pointing them out. Keep them nice and tight into your hips, pull them into the pocket, and then slowly release back into the start position.
She the girl in my visions. Now that I found you, I'm feeling for all your attention. Girl, yeah, hope you don't mind if I give you a tour of my mansion. Yeah, all of this for you, babe. Nothing I won't do, babe. Weak for your love. Everywhere we go, they be alright. Yeah, can't help.
So next we're going into my favourite movement ever, to be honest. I've been obsessed with it for like 6-7 months. I look forward to it every single week. But with these, you want to make sure that with your working arm, when you're pulling back, again, you don't want to let your elbow flare out. You want to keep your elbow nice and tight, pull into the pocket, and then slowly release back up. So when you're pulling into the pocket, you want to pull for 1 second and then slowly keep the tempo nice and controlled, 1, 2, as you're going back up, and then keep this movement until failure. Honestly, I'm obsessed with it. And also with the C, you want to make sure that your non-working arm, if you wrap it around the bench, this will help you get more stability. Honestly, you need to try this movement out because I'm obsessed with it. I've been obsessed with it for so long now.
Let me give you the moments in your life to step to fly away together. Can't help it with your body. Just wanna make you happy. I just wanna call on you. Money just fall on you. Another thing I won't do. Ooh yeah, I just wanna call on you. Let me do it.
So next we're going into chest press. Now I usually actually do these on the Smith machine, but I've started using the machines where the Smith machine was taken once, and I don't know, I can just feel it so much more on my chest, so I'm going to carry on doing it on here for a little while just to see how I get on. But whilst you're doing these, you want to make sure the elbows don't flare out too much, because when I started to do them on here, I did start to flare my elbows too much, and my coach pointed it out. So every time that I do this now, I try and make sure that my elbows are pointing down a bit more. But you just want to make sure that you are pushing through that chest. Again, like I said with the previous movement, push up, and then slowly as you're coming back down, 1, 2, and keep that nice controlled movement throughout, because if you're rushing these reps and just repping through nice and quick, the tempo won't be there, and your muscles just won't be working anywhere near as hard.
Another thing I won't do. Ooh yeah, I just wanna call on you. Let me do it all for you. Can't nobody ball on you. Ooh yeah.
Next, we're going into lateral raises. I did do these in my glutes and shoulder workout, so I'm not going to talk through these again. But yeah, just make sure that you're keeping the tempo perfect without, and also just make sure that your shoulders roll forward rather than out.
Give up on the baggage, girl.
Next, we're going into a movement that honestly I dreaded doing every single week. Before, I used to use just the cable and pull through the round bit on the end of the cable, and I didn't really feel it much, so I just didn't really enjoy it. But I started using the cuff and wrapping it around my wrist, and honestly I have never enjoyed a movement so much in my life. Like, I really feel every rep now. I feel it exactly where I need to feel it, and keep the tempo nice and controlled throughout. Keep that arm straight, don't bend the arm, don't bend the elbow, just keep it nice and straight, and make sure that you're keeping the line nice and straight as you're going back and forth with this movement.
She's so damn fine. I just wanna call on you. Money just fall on you. Another thing I won't do. Ooh yeah, I just wanna call on you. Let me do it all for you. Can't nobody ball on you. Ooh yeah, she the girl in my visions.
So next we're going into bicep curls, but we're doing them on the cable. With the cable, I just feel like you can get way more control over your rep, and I really feel like my biceps are working so hard. But one thing that I will definitely suggest doing with these is something that I used to mess up on, is when you're pulling with this movement, you want to pull all the way up, and when you're going down, you want to make sure that you're going all the way down so you can see your tricep popping basically. And then lastly, we're going into tricep extension. You kind of want to like stand straight but sort of tilt your back a tiny weeny bit, and then you want to pull in a straight line all the way down. And where with the rope, you want to kind of pull down but keep your arms tight and your elbows tight, but with your hands pull out. So you're not pulling your elbows and arms out, you're just pulling your hands out a little bit.
Yeah.
Before, I absolutely hated training upper body, like going being like, oh, I could quite fancy doing this today, but that is not where results lie. Results lie where you stay consistent at the same exercises. If you want to change your isolations up every now and again, that's fine, guys. Keep your compounds the same, keep consistent at them for a couple of months, get the progressive overload on them, stick to those compounds, and I promise you, you will start seeing results, because that is what I did, and that's where I've started to like get stronger at them. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find a pump for my upper body day as well, because upper body is just my favorite thing now. You can see like my biceps, shoulders. I absolutely love training an upper body, because I do just burn out, because I love it now. So I just burn out because I'm enjoying what I do. Girls, I know that girls training an upper body, it shouldn't be a thing. It's like kind of gone now, but I know that girls are still afraid to train upper body, or not afraid, but just care too much about growing their glutes that they're like, oh, I'll train upper body if I get the time. One thing that I learned is you don't want to have a massive bum and then have no shape up here. You want to have that athletic look, so you want to make sure you have like a pump in your shoulders, you want your arms to be defined, you don't want to just have like defined legs, defined bum, and then everything else not be defined. Like, you just want an overall athletic look. Definitely train your upper body. So then on a Thursday will normally be a rest day for me, and then Friday I train legs. Leg day is the one day where I'm like, right, it's got the most compound movements in, it's got so many just exercises where I'm like, oh my god, I really need to hype myself up for this exercise. My leg day is crazy, but I'm sure you'll see what I mean now.
Yeah. Oh.
So first we're going into Smith squats. Now, to be honest, I really don't enjoy doing squats at the moment. So when I do them on Smiths, I do feel a little bit better about them because it does help me with my form. With my squats with a barbell, I tend to roll forward too much. So I'm really just trying to focus on doing them on the Smiths just to get the form perfect. With these, you want to make sure that you're pushing through your heels and keep that back as straight as possible. Sometimes I do like to elevate my heels a bit just so I can get a better glute connection. But honestly, these are absolutely amazing for the glutes.
Now that I found you, I'm feeling for all your attention. Girl, yeah, I just want your attention. Hope you don't mind if I give you a tour.
So next we're going into leg press, and there are two ways of doing this depending what you want to target.
I won't do, babe.
Make sure that your stance is a tiny bit closer and your feet are more straight on the pad. Whereas if you want to connect your glutes, you want to have your stance a little bit wider and you want to point your feet out a little bit more. But the main thing that I can give advice with this movement is depth. Like, depth is so important, which is something I really didn't realise until my coach told me. But depth is so crucial. Like, there's no point doing this if you're not going to get your depth in, because the depth is where you're going to get the muscle working. If you're just sort of half-heartedly going down and pushing back up, yeah, you're doing the movement, but you're not really connecting what you need to. Next, we're going into dumbbell RDL. This is something that I have been really trying to get my strength up on, but I do feel like I'm hitting the point now where I just need to stick to this weight because I really don't want to injure my back and I want to make sure that my reps are absolutely perfect. But with these, the best analogy I can give is that instead of going down into the movement, like instead of thinking with a squat where you go down, don't think you're going down, think you're going back. So pretend there's a wall or a light switch or something behind you that you want to hit with your bum. Push back with your bum. If you think of it as a hamstring stretch, as a glute stretch, rather than a downwards movement, you'll get the best connection possible.
All on you.
We're going into lying hamstring curls. Honestly, this is a movement which I just love doing because my hamstrings on these, I can just burn out. Like, honestly, I feel them so much. You want to pull your legs up, and then as they're going down, you want to keep the movement slow and controlled as they're going down. Keep that tempo perfect throughout and you'll feel your hamstrings absolutely dying, I promise.
Every girl too fine, oh she mine. She's so damn fine. I just wanna call on you. Money just fall on you. Not a thing I won't do. Ooh yeah, I just wanna call on you. Let me do it all for you. Can't nobody ball on.
Next, we're going into dumbbell lunges. Now, this is something that, God, I think I took ages to get right with, because after my coach pointed it out, like I was leaning too far forward, which I was then pushing through my chest and my back too much. So when you do these, if you find yourself leaning forward a tiny bit, that's fine, but don't lean forward too much because you will end up pushing through your core and through your back too much. But yeah, when you're pushing up, you want to make sure that you're pushing through your working foot, the foot that's in front, not the foot that's at the back. And make sure that you can feel it in your glutes by pushing through that heel. If you're pushing through the leg that's at the back, the non-working leg, you're not going to get the connection that you need to. Using these figure 8 straps has helped me at my weight so much. So if you haven't got them already, definitely invest in a pair.
Ooh yeah.
So lastly, we're going into adductors, and honestly, I've only recently added these to my sessions, and I just, every time I do them, I feel killed off a couple of days after. Like, the DOMs are crazy after these. But with these, you want to make sure that you're pushing with your knees and your inner quads rather than your feet, because you want to make sure that you're working the inner part of your quads, not pushing through your feet. With this, I do like 3 sets of 10 to 12, and oh my god, I absolutely die. Sometimes I challenge myself and like lower the weight on the last one and then just rep out as many reps as I can. Honestly, if you try that out, I promise you it will kill you off. But yeah, it's an amazing exercise, so definitely add it into your sessions if you haven't already.
I won't do. Ooh yeah, baby. I just wanna call.
But yeah, as I'm sure you can see after watching that, my leg days are just brutal. One thing that I would suggest doing if I had known this before, I got to a point where I was like training and I'd leave the gym and I just feel like, oh, I'm not really happy with that, or I probably could have pushed for more on the next exercise if I had more energy. And I just do like my 2 compounds or however many compounds and I get some isolation movements and I'm just like, I just don't have energy. I just don't want to do them. Like, I just want to go home now. Sometimes I just get to the point where I'm like, I just can't, like I just can't push anymore. So what I've started to do now is between every exercise, I will stop, I'll pause, I'll leave and go to the toilet, or I'll leave and fill my water bottle up, or I'll move to where I'm doing the next exercise, but I'll just sit there for like however long I need to. Just try not to go on my phone because it is a distraction. Just do anything just to like give myself a little bit of a break, re-energize myself, so when I go into the next movement I do feel more energized. I was dying so much from pushing myself on the exercise before that I'd go straight into the next one and then I'd be down, I wouldn't have the energy. Don't just throw yourself into the next one straight away, which is why like I don't do supersets anymore. Like, I think they're amazing. I'm really trying to focus on form and strength at the moment, so if I'm gonna burn myself out on one exercise then go into another one, like I'm not gonna really have the energy to like push as much as I'd like to on the next exercise. They are amazing. I wouldn't suggest doing it with your compounds because your compounds are the ones where you want to push really, really hard on, and if you're supersetting them you are going to burn out on that first exercise more, and then your strength isn't going to be as amazing as it would be had you had a break. Make sure you're re-energizing yourself. And also it's the same with unilateral movements actually. For example, Bulgarian split squats, they are absolute killers. Don't be afraid if you need like a couple seconds break to then move on to the next leg. Same with any upper movement. If you want a break between each arm, do it. You don't need to like go straight back into the next one. Would you rather have a little break, or would you just rather not have a break and do less reps and end up having one arm more defined than the other because you could do more reps on the other one or push harder on the other one and have an even muscle definition in both your arms? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it is just common sense, but you don't think that at the time. You're just like, I just want to push myself, I just want to get this exercise done, so I'm just gonna just do it and like not have a break. But guys, if you need the break, just have the break, because I promise you, like, you'll realize how much more you can push if you just have breaks and you just allow yourself that time to recover before going into the next one. So then, depending what my weekend's looking like, I usually have a rest day Saturday and then train Sunday. But obviously, you know what they say, Sundays are for resting, recovering, chill days, movie days, all that. So yeah, it just depends what I'm feeling, what my week's been like. My last session of the week is legs, glutes and back. This one I'm not so keen on. I do prefer training shoulders, so that is why I prefer my shoulder workout. It's another amazing split, I'm sure you'll see in a sec. I love training it because again, it's like full body, but it's not like full body, it's just an isolation on the back and then lower body, and it's just, I don't know, again, overall pump, like it's just such a good feeling. First movement we're going into is a back movement. We're going to isolate the back before going into our lower body movements. But the first movement we are doing is a lat pull down. Now, obviously, with these being a compound movement, they are a staple for training back. So make sure that you've got lat pull downs in your back split whenever you train back, because it is the best compound in my opinion for back.
Just fall on you, another thing I won't do. Ooh yeah, I just wanna call on you. Let me do it all for you. Can't nobody ball on you.
And then we are then going into barbell RDLs. Now, obviously, I did do them earlier in the week with dumbbells, but like I said, I really am just trying to gain strength with these. They're also another amazing exercise for the glutes, another compound movement. And honestly, like, they are just something that does take time to get form right because they are quite hard to wrap your head around. But like I said, the best way I could describe it is just thinking that there's a wall behind you and you're trying to touch that wall with your bum. So instead of going down like you would with a squat, push back towards like the wall with your bum and then come straight back up. As I'm sure you would have seen earlier on in the week, I do machine hip thrust first, but I do like to do barbell as well, just so I can get my form as well as strength there. I'm not able to hip thrust anywhere near as much with the barbell as I am on the machines, because I just feel like I can get better stability with the machines. However, I do feel it a lot more in my glutes, so I do like to do them on both. But with these, you want to make sure that your feet are at a right angle. This is so important. If you want to target the glutes, you want to make sure that your stance is perfect.
Girl, too fine, no, she might give up on the baggage, girl. You got too much going on in that mind, let me help you. Yeah. Let me give you the moments in your life to step to.
I then go into elevated lunges. Earlier in the week you saw me doing lunges, so as you can see, like I'm saying, I've done this exercise before this in the week, but I've changed something about it. So I'm keeping my movements the same, but so it's not repetitive, I'm doing them a little bit different. So I'm doing elevated lunges today so that they are a bit different from my lunges earlier on in the week. But with these, it's exact same form as the other ones. You want to make sure that you're putting all the weight and you're pushing through that front foot, the working foot. Like I said before, the figure 8 straps have helped so much with my strength, so I definitely recommend investing in them if you can.
Ooh yeah, Amaru, yeah. Turn up for the night, real thing.
I'm then going into lying hamstring curls. Again, I did these earlier on in the week, so I'm not going to talk through them too much, but you want to just make sure that these are so controlled, because if you're rushing these reps, you're not going to get the connection that you need to get, and you're not going to target your hamstrings where you need to. So just make sure that you're getting the control perfect on these.
For you, can nobody ball on you? Ooh yeah, eh. She the girl in my visions. Now that I found you, I'm feeling for all your attention. Yeah, hope you don't mind if I give you a tour of my mansion. Yeah, all of this for you, babe. Nothing I won't do, babe. Weak for your love. Everywhere we go, they be alright. Yeah, can't help it with your body. Just wanna make you happy. I just wanna call on you. Money just fall on you. Not a thing I won't do. Ooh yeah.
And then I'm going into abductors. Again, I did them earlier on in the week, so I'm not going to talk through them too much, but these are absolutely amazing for the glutes, especially if you really push your abs on these, because it is just such a glute dominant exercise that your glutes just burn like hell. But yeah, these are absolutely amazing, so just make sure you keep the control perfect on these.
Think she's no average girl, too fine, no she might give up on the baggage, girl.
And then lastly, I do hyperextensions to like figure out my form on these a little bit, because you just need to figure out where works best for you. But I like, where I feel it the most is where my hips are, basically hip bones are balancing off the edge of the pad. And then depending on what you want to target, if you want to target your hamstrings, you want to keep your back nice and straight as you're coming up. Whereas if you want to target your glutes, you want more of a rounded back. Trying to target my glutes, if I point my feet outwards a little bit, I do feel it more in my glutes, but it is completely mind to muscle connection with this exercise. And also, obviously I do lying hamstring curls, and then I go into abductions, and then I do this. So because I'm pre-exhausting my glutes before going into this, it then helps me connect my glutes more. Whereas if I wanted to pre-exhaust my hamstrings so that I could then get better hamstring connection, then I would have done the hamstrings last. So just think about what you're training before, and just think smart with how you're like scheduling your workouts. And but yeah, that's my 4 week of workouts. I've been sticking at this split for actually 6 months now, like ever since I started with my coach. I say to him, like, surely we need to change now. What he says, and it is so true, is like, seeing progress, we're seeing results, so why would we change? And that is so true. If things are working, don't change them, because they're working. They're going to continue working if you just keep progressing, keep pushing, keep getting progressive overload on them. They are going to work, so don't give up. Fair enough if you're doing an exercise and you don't see any change in 3 months, maybe that exercise isn't for you. But don't do hip thrusts and be like, oh, I haven't seen progress in like 3-4 weeks, because they clearly don't work for me, because they are something you need to stick at. They are something you need to just wait till you get your form right, then you can progressively overload. Like, just keep working at it. Like, don't be impatient, because I'd watch all these girls I absolutely love, like KK Fit, and be like, oh, I just want a bum like them, or I just want like abs like them, or I just want this like them. And then I realised they've been doing this for 5+ years. Some of them have been going to the gym for 10 years. So I can't sit here and be like, why don't I look like them? When I have different genetics to them, them. 2, they've been training way longer than me. And 3, I can't compare myself to someone who, I don't know what they do. I don't know how many times they train. I don't know what the intensity they train to. I don't know anything about them. I just see a picture of them on Instagram or a video of them on YouTube. I don't see if they're really struggling at the moment. I don't see if they're really happy at the moment. Like, you just see a little snippet of their life. So it's so important not to compare. It's the exact same as weight. That is one thing that sometimes I am actually so guilty of now. Like, I'll see someone lifting a certain weight and be like, well, I weigh about the same as them, so why can't I lift that? Or I've been training the same time as them, why can't I lift that? But they may weigh more than me. They may have been doing it longer than me. They may be doing that exercise a couple times a week more than me, so they're able to progress more. Like, you don't know. It's something that, like, we're all guilty of. Best thing you can do for yourself over absolutely anything in the gym is to just focus on yourself. Remember that every single person's there for the exact same reason as you, and that is just to grow whatever they want to grow, whether it's confidence, appearance, anything. As people go to the gym for a purpose, they're not there to look at you and pointing things out, which is why now, for my coach, look at me like a year ago. I look back at my videos from the gym. I'm actually going to find one right now because it's actually embarrassing how I used to train. But I look back at my videos and I'm like, Chloe, like, you could have easily had like another 10 reps plus. You just gave up for no reason other than because you thought you had to stick to a rep range. No, like, I tell my clients this now. I give them a rep range, which I'd like them to hit. If they can hit over that rep range, push until there's no reps left. If it means you can push a lot more than what I'm giving you, we then up the weight. That's when we know it's time to up the weight, because you can push a lot more than what you're expected to at that certain rep range. For example, if I was going to try and hit thrust 100 kg for 10 and I get to the 10th rep and I'm like, oh, I could probably do a little bit more here, and I end up doing an extra 3 or 4 reps, then I know I can up the weight. It is all about just taking it as it comes and just not giving up on that rep range. Don't put the weight down on that 10th rep if there's more reps in you. Like, please, that is one thing that I always used to like make the mistake of, and that's how I wasn't training to failure. I would literally just like put it down at 10 because that's what I told myself I had to do. Get out your head of that. If there's more reps in it, push until there's no reps left, until that last rep is like a massive struggle. But yeah, I'm gonna try and find a video of me in the gym. I think it was like 2 years ago. My form is embarrassing. It's on my Instagram and I should probably delete it. Like, I can't believe I'm still keeping it up there, but I like to look at it just to see how far I've actually come. Also, guys, I am so sorry about my nails. I was gonna paint them and then I was like, no, I really need to get this filmed and up for you guys because I was gonna post this so long ago. So this was actually the first ever video I posted in the gym. I remember it was in lockdown when the gyms had just opened and you could only go to like your local gyms, like you couldn't travel far. So I went to the gym local to me. I actually travel like half an hour to my gym, but I went to the local gym by me. Don't know anyone there, so I'm just gonna film. First ever time I did it, I was so nervous I took my sister with me and asked her to film me because I was so scared to go on my own. Okay, here it is. So I don't know if it's gonna focus. Come to the gym with me. Can't believe I'm showing this on my YouTube. Look at my squats. Ready? Like, look, my depth is not that, and look, when I squeeze up, the hyperextension in that, I look like I'm literally gonna break my back. That is not on at all. Honestly, cannot believe I used to do that. But it just goes to show, like, normally I'd be like, oh my god, Chloe, like that, thinking like bad, but like now I just think like, Chloe, like, look how far you've come. Like, that was, what date was that? That was 24th of October. Oh my god, that was almost exactly 2 years ago. Absolutely crazy how much I've changed. Before I got my coach, I was like, I don't need a coach. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing. Sometimes it does take someone to watch what you're doing to like realize little tiny things you're doing wrong. One week you make that tiny little mistake and then that mistake becomes the norm to you, and then you just carry on doing that every single week and you don't realize you're making it sometimes. So the best thing about having a coach, and my coach and I do the exact same with the girls that I coach, is when I film myself, I send it to him every single week. Every single session I do, I send that to him and he says, okay, Chloe, you need to change this and that. Like, he'll tell me exactly what I need to know. So then next week when I go to do squats, I'll look at the feedback he's giving me and I'll be like, okay, I need to do more depth. I didn't hit depth last week, so I need to make sure I do that this week, or push for that next rep because he knows I'm capable of it. Like, just little things like that. Being able to like have that second opinion, one of the best things I ever did, and I'm so grateful I've got a coach, and I feel even more grateful that I finally have started coaching girls myself. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions whatsoever about my coaching, about